I appreciate being able to be here today and represent the prosecutor, Ms. Brenda Hollis, and the deputy prosecutor, Mr. Joseph Kamara. The current prosecutor, Brenda Hollis, has, fortunately for me, but has had to, probably because of staff drawdowns, has had to break with the tradition of prior prosecutors, including David Crane and Ambassador Rapp, of not ever letting me leave Freetown. And so for that reason, it's very much a pleasure for me to be here and represent them here today. Brenda Hollis is, of course, really with her first love right now, and that is she is preparing to cross-examine the next witness. And so it's very, very hard to get Brenda out of the courtroom, and but I know she would love to be here with you but for that. I do want to say one thing before I forget. Please, no one tell Brenda about these T-shirts, because if you do, she will try to take mine away, and I'm not going to let her have it, so don't tell her about the T-shirts. Okay, where are we in the Special Court of Sierra Leone? Of course, we're really focusing on two things, and we hope it happens in this order, and that is completion of the Taylor trial and closure and transition to the residual court. So where are we with that work? The three trials in Freetown, I think as everyone probably knows here, has been completed. They have been completed, appeals are done, all of those convicted at those three trials. We have 8 that have been convicted at those three trials, serving sentences of between 15 years and 52 years. And on the 31st of October of last year, almost a year ago, they were transferred from Sierra Leone and are serving out their sentences in Rwanda. And so that has worked out very good for us in moving them out of Sierra Leone, taking away any concerns about them serving the sentence in Sierra Leone, in the country where the crimes happened, and any security issues or issues that may be associated with them continuing their presence in Sierra Leone. Just a quick footnote on that. If Charles Taylor is convicted, Charles Taylor will serve his sentence in the UK. That was part of the conditions to moving his trial to the Netherlands in 2006, was that someone would step forward and agree to take Charles Taylor in the event that he was convicted. With that, showing with those 3 trials completed, we have the one remaining trial that's going on in The Hague. The prosecution case on that trial lasted 13 months of testimony, and during that 13 months, plus 3 additional witnesses that we were able to call earlier this month, the prosecution called 94 witnesses live in the trial. We presented the evidence of 6 other witnesses by putting in statements or expert reports, making a total of number of prosecution witnesses of 100, a good even number. That's actually why we reopened the case to call Naomi Campbell and Mia Farrow and Carol White, because we were standing at 97. And Ambassador Rapp called us and said, you know, it'd be nice if you could end this at an even 100. And so that's why we reopened our case to call these 3. So we're at the evidence of an even 100 witnesses in the case of Charles Taylor. Prosecution, we closed our case in February of 2009. The defense case started in July of 2009, and the first witness to take the stand was Charles Taylor. And Charles Taylor was on the stand through direct and cross-examination well into the new year. Currently, the 20th defense witness is now testifying. The witness that just finished his testimony last week was Isisese. He was one of those convicted in the RUF trial, and he traveled to The Hague from Rwanda to give evidence on behalf of Charles Taylor. His evidence lasted, I think, about 6 weeks, if I recall, that his evidence lasted. It started in July and just finished on last Friday. And so they are now on the testimony of the 20th defense witness. Where we expected the defense case, the evidence in the defense case, indications from the defense that their evidence would end in August, at the latest September. A few weeks ago, the judges revisited that with the defense in a status conference, and they had given the defense until the 12th of November to complete their evidence. They have indicated that after the evidence of Isisese that they would have a handful or maybe up to 7 additional witnesses, which must now complete their testimony by the 12th of November. We are still working on a completion plan for the defense case to see that come, to see we will hopefully have, of course, final trial briefs and oral arguments, probably not now before the end of the year, but we're probably looking early into the new year when we will find final trial briefs will be due and closing arguments, and we're hoping to have a judgment in the Charles Taylor case by June of next year, with a sentence, if applicable, cross my fingers, but with a sentence August of next year, and we hope to see the appeals process completed by February of 2012, and closure, or rather, I shouldn't say closure, but rather transition to the residual court at that time. And so that's very much the timetable that we're working off of at this time. Recall, Special Court of Sierra Leone was set up by agreement between the United Nations and the government of Sierra Leone, as opposed to being set up by the Security Council. And so to get to a residual court, really the same process has to be followed. And the agreement has been signed between the government of Sierra Leone and the United Nations, and an implementing statute to set up the residual court for the Special Court for Sierra Leone. Ongoing residual issues that concern the Office of the Prosecutor, and that is the ongoing protection of witnesses, victims, and confidential sources. Those people who may be harmed, those people who may be in a position to suffer for the support and the evidence that they gave before the court. We still constantly have reports of witnesses that have testified before the court of them being harassed or intimidated, or certainly at least made known or try to make known that they testified before the court. And these are concerns that will not go away when the court in its current configuration goes away. And so for that reason, it is very important that an office be maintained in Freetown that is in a position to deal with these kinds of issues and protection of witnesses, victims, and possibly confidential sources or others that have provided to support. And this just isn't a prosecution issue. This is also a defense issue. There's no question about that. Because in light of the funding crisis that we are currently going through, in the back of the room later, we will have available for sale for $19.95 this video. Now, of course, I am joking, but this is a video that is now circulating around Freetown, around Sierra Leone, and Liberia. Some very enterprising people. We're not sure if from Nigeria or China. We're not exactly sure where they're from, but they have taken our outreach footage that, of course, is given out to groups and communities. They have taken our outreach footage and produced what is really a pretty nice little DVD testimony coming out of the Charles Taylor trial. And if you're in Freetown, you can buy it for 10,000 leones, which is $2.50. We're pleased with. Although I think a lot of the coverage around calling our new witnesses, calling our additional witnesses Naomi Campbell, I think it came because of the celebrity aspect of it, but again, it did put us back into the public eye. And if you looked at the coverage surrounding their testimony, and you get around the analysis of who testified, or did Naomi and Carol testify to different things, but you get around that, all of the news coverage did come back in the end to the conflict. And they brought the conflict back into the public eye and brought back into the horrible things that happened in Sierra Leone during this period. And so I think that was very much a good thing to see. To get back what was going on from all of our tribunals back into the public eye. And so in that sense, we were very pleased to see the publicity that came out. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.